Hello and welcome back to Heartstrings Deeper Thinking. Today we'll be making a racing game like the one shown here for the Plague of 2020 test footage. We'll be starting out by using the scene I've kind of pre-created just so we can have a skeletal base for what we're going to do here. First, we're going to start with our racers. As you can see here, I've picked out 3 different dogs, and these are just really the base skeleton sheet. First thing we're going to do is copy this event page because I'm kind of lazy and don't want to look for the animals graphic again. And then we're going to go ahead and paste the same graphic onto the second page. Now that we have our second tab open, we're going to go ahead and click Switch, and we're going to make one called Dog Race. Next, we're going to go ahead and click Stepping for the walking, set the trigger to parallel, and then we're going to go ahead and make a custom movement route. And the first thing we're going to do is click under our options and click Repeat Movements. Next, we're going to go ahead and click Move Right under Movement Commands, and then skip if cannot move. Now we'll go ahead and click OK, and we're going to go ahead and copy our event page, and we're going to go into each dog event and paste this page as the second event page, and then from here we're just going to go ahead and change the graphic of the dog so that it matches the original dog. Dalmatian to Dalmatian, Scotty to Scotty, you know what I mean. And now that we have our dog/racer events done, we're going to go ahead and work on the race master. This is who will help us initiate the race in the first place. As you can see, I already have the race master's icon chosen, and now we're just going to fill him in. You can always add a face graphic to your character boxes here if you want, but we're going for simplicity here, so we're not going to do that. First, we're going to go ahead and make a show text event, and this can be really whatever you want. It's really just saying, hey, do you want to bet in the race? Next, we'll do a Show Choices event, and that'll just be a simple yes or no. If the player chooses the no option, you could always just leave that blank, but I usually like to put something like okay or bye. And now we get to the more complicated part. Under the yes branching, we're going to go ahead and do a Show Text event, and put which dog do you want to bet on. For your race, you could always color code the options, or you could go ahead and put icons there instead, but for simplicity's sake, we're not actually going to do that for this one. Next, we're going to do another Show Choices event and put all the names of the racers, in this case the dogs, Corgi, Dalmatian, and Scotty. Then we're going to change the default option to No Choice, just so if your character is speeding through the script, they don't accidentally click on a choice they don't want here. I also chose Disallow for the branching, just so your character can't go back in case you made this event cost items or money. Now, under the When Corgi branch, we're going to go ahead and do a new switch here. It's going to be called Corgi Bet. We're going to make sure it's on, and then we're going to turn the dog race switch on. From here we're going to go ahead and control a variable, and it's going to be called Dog Race Winner. We're going to be picking numbers 1 through 3. If you have more racers in the version that you're creating, feel free to up the number at the end, but make sure we're using 0 as our reset number. Next, we're going to go ahead and do a conditional branch. We're going to click the variable option. Make sure we select the Dog Race Winner variable, and we're going to make it equal to 1. No else branch, just clicking OK. And next, you can add an optional comment to remind yourself which dog would be winning in this race selection. Since selection 1 is the Corgi winning, that's how we're going to branch this. Next, we're going to go to tab 2, click on Movement Event, and for this we're going to go ahead and select the winning dog. For this instance, it would be the Corgi. Then we'll uncheck Wait for Completion, and then we're going to go ahead and change the frequency and the speed of the animal. Now next, make sure that when you're doing this, you're doing it underneath the first end dot. If not, you're going to encounter some problems. We're just going to copy the text that we just made for the branching and paste it underneath that end dot. We're going to change the Dog Race Winner number to number 2. This is where the Dalmatian's going to win. Then we're going to change the set movement route from the Corgi to the Dalmatian. As an additional option, you can always put a separate movement route under that same event and change it for a different animal to make them move faster or slower to make the race more interesting. Next, we're going to copy and paste that same event and put it under the next end dot. And this one's going to be for the Scotty winning. We're just going to change everything again to make the Scotty win. Option 3 for the Dog Race Winner variable, and everything else will be set to the Scotty. I'll just speed through that really quick here since you know what I'm doing. Okay, and last but not least for this step, we're going to go ahead and turn a self switch on. It's going to be self switch A. And that is the last step for this specific part. Now we're going to go ahead and copy all that we had under the Corgi branch. We're going to paste it underneath the next dog branch, which is Dalmatian, and just change one thing. The only thing we need to change is the dog bet switch. So since we're doing it for the Dalmatian to win, we're going to go ahead and change it to Dalmatian instead of Corgi. And then we're going to scroll down, copy paste, and do the same thing for the Scotty as well. And now we have our first page done. Now to move on to the second one, we're just going to go ahead and copy this event page and paste it again. We're really just going to clear out all the old text. I'm just lazy and I don't want to look for this character's icon. Now, before we forget, the first thing we're going to do is set the trigger to parallel. And next we're going to create the winner branching. First thing we're going to go ahead and do is make a wait time. This is how long it'll take for the dogs to reach the end of the race line. For this case, it's about 300 frames. Next, we're going to make a conditional branch, click variable, and then we're going to go down to the dog race winner. And if the variable equals 1, that means the Corgi wins. After that, we're going to do a show text and have our race master character tell us which animal won, in this case the Corgi. And then we're going to set up another conditional branch. This one's going to be if the Corgi bet was on for the switch. And for this one, we really will need the conditional branch, so make sure you have that checked. Then we're going to click OK. Then we're going to go ahead and do a show text. And this is basically the race master saying, oh, hey, good job, you won. Here's your reward. And then they'll give you an item or a weapon or whatever you want them to put there. And then next, for the else branch, we're going to go ahead and put the no, you didn't win option, which can essentially be whatever you want, but we are going to put, your dog didn't win. So sad. Better luck next time. And now we're going to copy all that we've made on this event page so far, except for the wait time, and paste it underneath the very last end dot. Not the first one, but the second one. Now we're going to change the dog race winner variable to 2. Go ahead and click OK. Change the text to show where the Dalmatian won. And next we're going to change the conditional branch from the Corgi bet to the Dalmatian bet being on. Go ahead and click OK. And now we're done with this portion. We're just going to do the same exact thing all over again for the Scotty. I'll just go through that with you here again, just in case you missed it for the first 2 times. Now we're finally done with all the crazy specific steps, and now we're really just resetting the game board. This really just involves turning off a lot of the switches we had on earlier, but I'll go through this step by step with you again. First, we're going to fade out the screen. Next, we're going to go ahead and turn our self switch A off, and then click OK. And then we're going to control our dog race switch, turn that off. And next we're going to do that for every single dog. Corgi bet, off. Dalmatian bet, off. Scotty bet, off. Next we're going to set our event location, and this is just putting every dog back where it originally was when we started the race. So putting the Corgi back in its first spot, Dalmatian back in the second spot, and Scotty back in the third spot. You're welcome to change the directional, but I usually just like to keep it on default because the dog's not moving anywhere but straight and back. And now that we've got all of that set up, we're going to go ahead and do our dog race winner variable. We're going to set that back to 0. Click OK, and then you can do a wait timer if you want, but it looks a little unnatural to me, so I ended up taking that out a little bit later. And almost last but not least, we're going to go ahead and fade our screen back in. And then a part that would be very good not to forget is switching the self switch A on. And from there, we did it! We're all done. We've got our doggy event. Let's go ahead and test it out, see what it looks like. And that's it! And that's it! Now you know how to make a race in RPG Maker MV. I'm sure that similar branching will work for MZ and any of the other RPG Maker versions there are, so hopefully this helps you whatever program you're using. If it's not working properly, please feel free to comment below and I'll be as soon as I see the comment. And if this video helped you, it would help me a lot if you could go ahead and click the subscribe button or share or anything of that nature. Even just a like would help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you next time, my friends.